If you wouldn't do it at somebody else's house, if you wouldn't do it at your own house, don't do it at the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And being like, Bhabi, kaisi hai? This is not the way to do things at a masjid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Straight Path Podcast. Today I wanted to ask a question. Should we ban iftars at the masjid? I know this is going to sound like a really drastic question. I'm not trying to say, hey, nobody should be eating at the masjid at all. But normally I would have said, yeah, let's ban them. But I understand it's not as easy as that. We have to think about all of the people who benefit from the iftars that happen at the masjid. A lot of people are not willing to understand the issues of the people and how they have to live and survive on so less. Even living in the West, many people benefit from these iftars that happen at the masjid. They don't have any family, so they find a diverse Muslim family who they can have iftar with. Other people may be struggling financially, so they can get a few meals a week from the masjid, judgment free, because everybody else is eating there as well. Then there's people who want to feed people, and they can't throughout the course of the year, but during Ramadan, their hearts really open up, their pockets open up. So we don't want to dissuade people who are trying to help other people out from feeding the people. And like I said, somebody who may be going through a tough time can avail of this opportunity and give this person a lot of dua. And even if somebody isn't going through a tough time, they can make a lot of dua for the host. So there are some benefits. I don't have a problem with the concept of doing an iftar for the community because there's a lot of benefit, like I said earlier. And even for the people who are providing it, they probably feel really good. But I have a problem with the way people treat iftars at the masjid. And there's two main elements. One is the lack of respect of the host. A lot of people, when they come to eat, when they get the food, this host has worked so hard, they've spent a lot of their money to provide good halal food, and people will complain about the food. It wasn't good. It wasn't spicy enough. It didn't taste right. Just the list goes on. It was too cold. Just people keep complaining. Like, look, this person has put a lot of time and effort. Have a little bit of respect. Restrain yourself. It's the month of Ramadan. Right now, we have brothers and sisters in Gaza who are dying of starvation. They're drinking grass soup, and people are complaining about the flavor of food. Like, oh, the namak or the salt was off by a little bit. The other problem I have with the lack of respect of host is people will show up late to make an appearance. The host is hosting this iftar at a masjid. They're trying to empty the hall for salah, get people in and out. They're trying to clean up the hall, give the hall back in a good condition, and people just waste time. They don't help with cleaning up. They don't do anything. They won't even pick up their own plate and throw it away. They won't even throw a glass away. If a napkin drops, they'll leave it there. Come on, have a little bit of respect for the host. They put in a lot of time and effort to host you. Be kind to them. Then the next problem I have is a lack of respect for the masjid. People treat it like a party hall. This isn't an iftar at a masjid. I'm not talking about somebody's private iftar at their house or if they're doing it at a hall. I'm talking about if they do it at a masjid or a masjid hall. People come dressed to impress. A lot of times they wear immodest clothing. They wear styles which are inappropriate to come wearing to the masjid. It's not a fashion show. Don't treat it like a fashion show. Don't treat it like a shadi. Just come, enjoy the iftar if that's what you want to do. Be gracious to the host, and that's it. Hopefully you offer some prayer at the masjid too. The other thing is people destroy the eating areas. They make a mess. They drop stuff everywhere. The bathrooms are so disgusting after people are done with an iftar. They've urinated all over the seats. There's water everywhere. When we come to the masjid, we treat it so badly. It's like despicable. The place is left in shambles. And, whoever is cleaning up the masjid has to put in so much time and effort to make it presentable again so that people can come the next day and have iftar again. People bring their kids. Kids playing is okay. Kids playing in a masjid is even okay. Just make sure they don't vandalize the place. A lot of times what happens is things are broken. Qur'ans are damaged. There's water on the carpet. There's like kids running around inside of the musalla area with shoes on. There's mud being trekked everywhere. If you wouldn't do it at a party hall, if you wouldn't do it at somebody else's house, if you wouldn't do it at your own house, don't do it at the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of people show up late, not to impress the host or anything like that or to make an appearance. They show up late so they avoid Maghrib. Having iftar at the masjid, the whole point is open your fast to pray Maghrib, pray Isha, not just come, eat, and leave. People will avoid coming for Maghrib, show up late. And then when Isha time comes around, everybody's going to get in the car and be like, oh, my kids have school, I have to go to work tomorrow morning. And they just leave. This is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did you just come here to eat and leave? There's some etiquettes of the masjid. Have enough respect that you pray the Isha Salah with Jama'at and then leave. Leaving 5 minutes before Isha Jama'at in the month of Ramadan? Come on, man. Then there's the other problem of gender free mixing. This may hurt a few people's feelings. We have rules and regulations which we follow in regards to gender interaction according to the Quran and the Sunnah, according to what our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ showed us. We're not supposed to be going around in a hall mixing freely with our sisters as men and sisters with the men and being like, Bhabi, kaisi hai? This is not the way to do things at a masjid. There should be a separate section for the men, there should be a separate section for the women. Preferably, there should be some parda, separate entrances, things like that. And for example, if those facilities are not available at a masjid, have some haya, set a good example for our youth. You know, don't intermingle, don't do anything inappropriate, don't have those bhabi conversations. The masjid is not the place for this, nor is anywhere else. The masjid is supposed to be the place where we get our training how to be a good Muslim, so we act like this outside of the masajid. Coming to the masjid in the month of Ramadan just to socialize, skipping all of the worship, not praying salah, not praying tarawih, this is not very nice. This is not even acceptable. The masjid is not your nani's house. This isn't the place for you to come and hang out and then leave. If you're coming for some ibadah and then you hang out afterwards, alhamdulillah. But just to come to hang out at the masjid, I know for people who struggle with Islam and you're trying to bring them on the right path again, it's fine. There's a point in time where they may come just for a little bit of socializing. But people from our communities have made it a norm that they only use the masjid for socializing. This is totally not acceptable. The masjid isn't like some sort of a country club or something like that where we just come hang out. Salah is going on inside. It's like, oh, nice. You know, let them pray. We'll do our thing. Have some haya, have some shame, have some respect for the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do some worship. I'm not asking you to stand there and pray Isha, pray all the tarawih, pray the witr, and then spend the whole night praying salatul tasbih and tahajjud and stuff like that. Just pray some salah, honor the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and take advantage of this beloved month of Ramadan. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq, may He give us the better understanding, and may He make us those who respect the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't just treat it as a party hall. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.